I'm Paul Roberts, and this is Conscious Counseling 101. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to talk to you about the importance of everything in life and perspective, and how it helps you to do great things, even if what you place your faith and belief in might not even be true. Let me just start off by saying, I'm going to decorate this room right now. My son's turning 20. He's not a baby anymore, he's not a toddler anymore, he's not a child anymore, he's not a teenager anymore, he's a young man. We've been doing this every day since 20 years, and we're going to do it again today while I'm talking to you. So we'll start off with a conversation I had with my friend the other day. One of the things that's nice about having a lifelong friend, even if you don't have anything in common with them, or maybe you did at one point because you were younger, or I don't know, but point of view, we have nothing in common. Nothing in common at all. And it's okay though, because when you have a conscious perspective, when you have a conscious analyzing point of view of life, what you're doing is you're not really trying to just live your life with someone and have a good time and say, oh, that's my friend, it's so nice to have a friend. You do that. There's times when you do that. You say, it'd be great to have a friend. But one of the things about people that you know your whole life is they become a much more important aspect of your analytical understanding, perspective of life, and they can really help in ways they never would have even known. And that maybe if you asked them, they wouldn't want to be this. But I've been able to watch Eric, my friend Eric, and he's been able to watch me. And today, we still disagree so much about almost everything. You feel like nothing's ever been accomplished. Nothing's ever been accomplished. And it amazes somebody like me, because I think about it all the time. I don't know if he does or not. Hopefully he'll watch this and he'll tell me what he thinks. And the other night we were at the theater, and he was talking to me. We don't have too much time. One of the only things we can do is the theater, because he doesn't go anywhere or do anything anymore, because of difficulties with mobility. So I do sometimes go to the theater, especially since there's a really good one nearby us. But the thing is he was talking to me, we just got on the topic. You know, I gotta realize first off, he gets a little bit grumpy, because he's got a rush hour, he's gotta drive an hour to get out of here after work. And so I figure he's a little bit grumpy. But he's basically telling me that everything I do is probably not done very well, probably not done to the right audience, probably not gonna get me anywhere, probably isn't gonna help anybody. And I'm just probably squandering my time because nobody really wants what I'm offering, and I'm never going to appeal to the masses in a way that's going to make money, and basically telling me everything I already know. And if you watch any of my videos, you'll know I talk about this all the time. I'm aware of all these things. I'm conscious of everything I'm doing. I'm aware of all these handicaps and difficulties. I'm aware of all the restrictions I put on my own way of doing things. I'm aware of all that. I've got answers for it, and like I always say, the answers can't be known. But you say to yourself, okay, you've got a point of view. There's nothingness, there's this life, there's the universe. We got to do whatever we can with it, and then there's nothing. That's his point of view. Now, that's a lot of people have that point of view, okay, and it could be right, it could be true. And then there's the other point of view. Oh, there's so much. The meaning of what we go through is so profound. The things that we can only sense, that we can't even see, touch us in such extreme ways that they affect our life and our world more than we could ever know or prove or show to anybody. And that could be wrong too. I know that. That's my point of view. But here's the thing. In my frustration to try to find a way to improve the world, to show the meaning of life to people in a profound manner, or at least my faith of what my belief is the meaning of life should be in a profound manner, I realize that there's no converting someone that doesn't want to be converted. You can spend your life with them, showing your example, showing your thoughts, comparing your ideas, and nothing will come of it. Nothing will come of it. Eric's got a story he likes to tell. We think it's funny, but it also could be looked at as pathetic. Depends on your point of view. He was playing with matches as a child. His dad caught him, and can't remember the exact story, but he put him in a closet, gave him a pack of matches, and told him to light every single match. I don't know, maybe he didn't put him in the closet. I can't remember because that seems like a fire hazard. But after a long time passed by, it was a huge box of matches. His dad went to check on him, and he was still playing with those matches, even after lighting 1,000 of them, as if the joy that he had originally there was still the same. Nothing had been taught through his father's lesson example. And in a way, I'm like the closest person to him other than his father because I've spent my life with him. And I've analyzed, I don't know whether his father analyzed, but he put his best foot forward. I admire his father for trying to do what he can do. But Eric basically has the point of view that there isn't anything beyond this realm, and might as well act like it because you're going to waste your life if you don't. You're going to put a lot of energies into something that really doesn't do anything for anybody, and you're not going to get anything out of it either. So, I can see that as how he thinks that's a viable point of view. We basically have two ways of looking at life. And I don't want to be judgmental. I feel like I could gain ground if I was more judgmental. I feel like saying, come on. You can't tell me you like the mess and everything that you've got and how you deal with it and the restrictions you have made for yourself and the fact that you're still, even with the restrictions, not learning from the lessons. And come on, man, do you really want me to be believing that, I mean, Eric will say something to me, and I'll tell him, you're right, I admit it, okay? I'll say something to him that's, constructive criticism, and he won't say you're right, won't do anything about it. All the stuff he said about me not being effective and everything is all correct, but I'm aware of why I'm not. And I admit it. It isn't what you think. It's something totally different. But I admit it. So I say something that if you could gather everybody in the world on one spot and say, what do you think about this, what I'm saying? Do you think this is reasonable? That, the way I'm viewing things? And not judgmental. And I think they'd say yes. But regardless, we're not getting anywhere. And I think the reason why we're not getting anywhere is the battle between good and evil. I'm using what I've always called belief or faith to justify why I see things as I do and why I act and go about life as if I do. As I do. And he is troubled by that. And I think, this is where we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, perspective-wise. I think the reason he's troubled is because the majority of people in the world that have also echoed those same sentiments have echoed them incorrectly and not had noble purposes or any kind of purpose of value. And their outcomes have displayed it in the history of mankind and in daily events. And I think that he, even though he knows me well, won't take his eye off the matches to see the remoteness of something being different than what all society and time has proved. He doesn't give the small chance, the smallest of the chance, that so many people could get it wrong, and that just one person's put in his life, even though he's fallible, to get it right and share it with him, to be a gift for him. He can't get that message. Can't get that message to save his life. So it's one of the largest quandaries of my life, and I guess I just got to say, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. That's what friends do. Now, if he wasn't my friend, I'd still do it if he wanted me to. I've been spending my life with people. I always say some of the negative people gravitate towards me because I'm so patient and kind. I'll put up with someone that no one else can put up with. As long as they'll have me. but they'll pay a price. Because they'll get exposed to what I'm sharing here and what I've shared with Eric, and they'll have no choice but to take the gift with purchase. You want a relationship with me? Yeah, I'll tolerate you. I'll love you. I'll be there for you. But you will be exposed to what it is that makes me me, that makes me capable of doing that for you, even if you don't accept it. That's what I've done with Eric, but he's my friend. We spent our life together. But that's what I do with anybody that would say, do what you can for me. That's why I do Conscious Counseling 101, because I already know I can do it, because I've spent my life doing it. And all I need is to find a way to have people welcome it and help people. I said to Eric, the best thing you could possibly do with your life existence is to see yourself as having something of value and finding a way to share it with another and having it be received and valued by the person. That's the hardest thing to do when you're not talking about worldly assets, money type things, things that everybody wants, things that the gurus and self-help people teach and offer, or try to offer, say they offer. That's the hardest thing to do when what you have to offer isn't seen as valuable even though it is. How do we know it's valuable? How do we know the offering is worthwhile? Because it produces positive results even if the original idea that you had that made you want to see its validity isn't the way you thought it was, or maybe even, to go this extreme, doesn't even exist. If the result is the same and you acted as if it did, the positive nature of what you've done still exists. And I say this in a lot of videos. Then it's the question only of perspective and labeling, Eric, and Conscious Counseling 101 observer. Labeling is the least important thing because it's done last if it's genuine. If you label it at first, it might not be genuine. Let me tell you what I mean. Eric was never exposed to religion or beliefs of those natures until he met me. And there was a youth group at church, and so we'd go to church. And I didn't identify with hardly anybody in that youth group. There was another person there named Denise that I identified with because she was a lot like, in some ways, like Eric, welcoming and not like the crowd, but still confused and lost and problemed. I wasn't able to help her other than give my friendship, just like I'm not able to help Eric other than give my friendship. But the point I'm trying to make is I brought him into that world, and in that world, everybody that goes into that world eventually has to be overcome with, I don't know, you could call it guilt, you could call it the speaking of the Lord to your soul, you could call it peer pressure, following what other people tell you you need to do. But at one point he went up during a revival, which isn't a normal time for our church, and went to the front and asked Jesus to come into his heart and did, the thing you do in the front of the church, And I was glad, but I had already done that too, and I was still full of darkness, still so full of non-consciousness, sin, I call that, if you're dark in the darkness. And we shared that sin together and that darkness together and didn't have any way to help elevate one another. And I think for him, he thought that moment was the moment, but he said later on he just did it because that's what everybody's doing. And nothing came from it, and no one could help him. Society's not set up to help him, and he didn't help himself. And so the light didn't catch him. The light didn't shine on him and make it well up inside of him and guide him. And because we shared an unconsciousness, a darkness, a youth of just not perfection, errors, unknowing, things that are less than we should have, vices, coming up short for having a good perspective that's valuable. I since worked through that. I since rededicated my life to what we should be doing. I made that change for 30 years or so. He didn't. And he doesn't know how it happened, even though he's been there with me. And my own brother, my own family, they don't understand what's happened to me in the last 30 years either. They don't understand a lot of this. I try to communicate with them, they don't understand it. Being about conscious and about light, really to me, because of my point of view, I label it as it's because of Jesus' teachings and helping me and guiding me, because that's where I got it from, or I think I got it from. Irrelevant though, because even if Jesus didn't exist and God didn't exist, what I did was real. And the results of it were real. And I share it, and it still isn't enough because he sees me as being qualified, but lacking in what I do and how I do it and who I do it to and the success that I come to with it, or lack of success. And he sees all that and says, see, your way's no better. And he convinces himself of that and is just as stuck to that thought as he was with the fascination with the matches. So, I've asked many times for people to leave comments, write in, talk with me. Sometimes people do, but it's more seldom than I would like. And I'll ask you too, Eric. This is where I stand. I gave you an opportunity to talk to me about what you thought a couple of weeks ago without interrupting you. And you revealed where you are. So I see you. Okay? Wishmaster. I like that Wes Craven horror movie, Wishmaster. You know, the girl, in order to overcome, had to have a moment of stillness and see her enemy in order to understand. And so Eric's not my enemy, but as a conscious individual that cares, I have to fully understand him if I'm to help. It's a possibility, I've thought of this many times, that I'm in this world to only help Eric. It's possible. I mean, come on. Anything's possible, right? And I can't give up on him or myself, because if I did, then my purpose in life wouldn't be fully served. I believe that. And so every day of my life I spend trying to help myself to gain heightened consciousness so that I can help others in my life, including my best friend Eric. Now, I can't do this same relation with Denise because even though, in my opinion, she's had a hard life and has a lot of troubles, she's happy to have had those troubles because they brought her the life she has with their child and things like this. And she's also a believer. And so therefore, I would be insulting to her to try to give her advice. So I don't give her advice. I just offer my friendship if she wants it. Try to involve her in my life a little bit as we went along. But yeah, there I am. Decorated now for my son's birthday. Talked to you for a while. This is the 20th time I've done this for him. 16 times I've done it for Anna. Got some nice gifts here from different people, cards, and a gift from us, which he already knows what it is. That's what he wants. So hopefully he'll like it and enjoy it. So I wanted to give you a little snippet into my regular world because, I did a video last week where I took somebody else's visuals and I re-edited it. And I'm mostly a talking head on other videos because what's being presented is the most important thing. And if you recognize it as being important, you don't need anything more than a talking head. And if you don't recognize it, you're not, no matter what you do is going to help you break through. To, what's that saying? To him who sees, no explanation is necessary. To him who doesn't see, no explanation is possible. As a Jesus believer, I believe that there's grace that allows you to see something, that allows you to be helped by something. If you just elect to see it and knock on the door will be answered. I'm a big advocate of my life's purpose would be worthwhile if only one person would be touched by my life. Like the Good Shepherd parable, where all the flock was left, just find the one that was lost. So, when I talk to you about counseling perspectives, if you're having difficulties in life, I can take you so far away from what you think your difficulties are that by the time you finally see what I'm showing you from a new perspective of your circumstance, and I'll tailor it to your circumstance if you like, you'll see that what you thought you had a problem with wasn't even a problem. There's such larger problems, and those larger problems made you think that what you had was a problem, but what you had was not a problem. So I realize standing here right now that everything that the world may see, and Eric through his views and sharing with me, looks like a problem. I'm standing here saying it's not a problem, because even if I'm not successful in what I'm trying to do, the proof is that by trying to do it and trying to be all you can be, you rise to a heightened conscious. And even if no one will receive it, you've given your life a higher purpose and offered it to the world, even without being received. And that's a gift to the world, even if they don't recognize it. All you need to do is take that away and be something less. They'd recognize the less. Now that's the provable part, Eric. That's the provable part, Conscious Counseling 101. That's the provable part. Something happened. Why did it happen? You made it happen. What do you credit for it? That's your choice of labeling. You know how I credit it. But it happened. And it is happening. May not ever be recognized. I may not ever make a gain from it other than the gain that my own conscience receives and everything that does in my life. But for no cost, I can help you realize that gain if it means anything or it's worth anything to you. That gain is real and can be duplicated and recreated. That's what I offer through Conscious Counseling 101. Now, one day I may offer more than that, but right now, that is so significant, and I offer it for no cost. I'm willing to take the time to go down the road with you to help you to see that and gain it for yourself and do whatever you can with it. I'm Paul Roberts. This is Conscious Counseling 101, and talk to you soon, hopefully.